trouble I could see running into. Hey friends, Joe the Farmer here. In today's video, we're going to do something super exciting. The Ventrac is going to get put to work, but that's not what's exciting. So our friends at Ventrac actually heard a little gripe that I was, making on camera. I think the only upgrade that I'd like to make to this thing is the suspension seat. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt.
Because this one kind of does hurt. Very few things I can complain about with this machine. So the seat that comes with it is probably great if you're going to use this for just mowing flat ground. Like if you're going to mow a lawn or you're going to mow something that doesn't really have a lot of ruts or washouts or a place where a groundhog dug a hole and jars your spine pretty good. It's like bucking a Bronco.
A little bit.
Just going for the ride. Yeah. It's fine for a lawn, not fine for a farm. So Stony Ridge farmer Josh, a lot of you may not know this, but he actually, I talked to him a bunch of times before I started my channel. He mentored me a little bit, which I really appreciated. He's just as nice of a guy in person as he is on camera. I saw Josh put a suspension seat on his Ventrac, and it just, my wheels started turning, and I reached out to Ventrac. I said, hey, is there a chance I could get a suspension seat? 100% planning on paying for it. They offered to send me one, and I'm going to install it today on this machine, and that is going to save my rear as well as my wife's. This is one of those purchases where you think to yourself, honey, I think I want to get a suspension seat for the Ventrac. Do you really need that? She actually operates the Ventrac a lot, so she realizes we did really need that. But anyway, I'm gonna get to work on putting that suspension seat on, and then we still have some other projects we need to do with this machine, but that's today. Now, if you see a bunch of low-flying aircrafts, those are wasps, and I really made some mad yesterday. I got it good, but I got them back.
Bye! Joe the Farmer, 10. Wasps, 0.
I don't know, I think they got one on me. And they stung me about 12 times on my right leg. So I'm wearing tennis shoes because my foot is so swollen I can't really get in boots, but we got work to do. And let's get the suspension seat set on here and installed, and hopefully there's no surprises. So let's do it. There really is nothing to the Ventrac seat. It just has this little cotter pin, and then pull that pin out, this little flap comes up, and the Ventrac seat should go forward. And then really it looks like we just have this electrical connection down here, and then we have 4 bolts. So these 4 bolts should come off real easy. And then on the new seat, you just set it in. Josh actually mentioned in his video, which was smart, is that there's 2 settings. One is for top, for taller people, well, just set back more, and one is for probably a shorter operator. So hopefully this is easy. Let's see. I've never been one of those people that can just like look at a bolt and know what the bolt size is. Never. They'll say, well, this one's too small, so obviously it's got to be a bigger one. Half-inch. There we have it. So I don't know if you can see this. There's just a little plastic clamp on here, which probably doesn't need to be on there anyway. Screwdriver. This will be your seat alert. So, if you hop off the seat, it'll shut the machine off just for safety. But everything else, this little zip tie. Before I cut it, I'm going to take a picture of it just to have a reference of what that looked like and how it was configured. It's like most people, my memory's not as good as it used to be. Okay, so there are nuts on the other side of this, so I'm going to set this so gently, lift it, and our seat's off. Easy enough. This is the most ridiculous thing ever. Just push a button and your tailgate comes down. Whatever. Alright, so this is the suspension seat right here under plastic, and I have 2 armrests for it too. Josh forgot to order the armrest. I didn't. I learned from his mistake. That's what YouTube's good for. When you see your favorite YouTubers doing stuff and they mess up, take note and just don't make the same mistake. It's heavy. Well, as you can see, it's really well made. Super plush seat. It's got dust on it from being in the back of the truck. Little Ventrac logo on it. I haven't really figured out how to work everything yet. How does this thing work? But I did notice there's a switch on here, but that's not for this particular, oh God, it's heavy. That's not for this particular model. For the 4520, I think you can have a heated seat, but for the 4500, which is what I have, you can, ooh, look at that, you can lean back some. That is really nice. Yeah, this is I mean, you can really see this is gonna eat up a lot of bumps. So, very excited about this. And let me give you an idea of how easy this should be. Famous last words, I know. We just have these little pedestals here that pop off, and then these should sit right in where the others were. I'm gonna put the armrest on, I think, after, or should we do it before? Let me think about that. All right, the best way to get these little rivets out of here is to go from behind. And actually, I doubt you can see that, but there's one rivet here and there's one here. Take a screwdriver and push them forward. Once you hear that kind of pop, you know you're pretty much good to go. So this piece will go in here. There's a little indentation there that you want to make sure that this lines up on. And it's height adjustable too. So if you want this to be for, you know, some with longer arms, probably lower, shorter arms higher, but this is adjustable, and this little toggle will actually adjust how the armrest will stay. This is probably the part where it'd be really helpful to have another human being when you're trying to center all these things. Because this seat, like I said, it is heavy. It's probably about 65, 70 pounds. Lots of old man grunting going on here. Alright, there's no way that just fell in there perfectly, so let me check the front. Missing one. But it is in there. Oh boy, living right. Remember the first time we did this, we're using a ratchet. Now we're using the, as I like to call it, the easy button. All right, something wonky is going on. I think that one of these is slid and the other one's not, but I'm gonna go ahead and get these bolts on here secured, and then we can mess with that because it's coming through in the right spot. It's just more of a settings issue, I think. Yeah, the Ventrac is just so well thought out. You can tell that whoever built it didn't try and overcomplicate, just to overcomplicate. You know, newer cars, if you try and put your hands in there to get any work done on it, good luck with that. All right, let's see if we can get that adjustment right up here. There's something wonky going on with this thing. There we go. All right, now they're lined up. Well, it seems that somehow this little underframe thing, I didn't get that on there. Not a surprise, you all. I'm not a pro. Not a pro. I think that was the sound I heard, was this thing popping off. That makes sense. You know, I may do this one time in my life, right? Unless I have a friend buy a Ventrac and says, hey, can you help me do it? You've done it before. You can't beat yourself up too bad about stuff like that when you're making mistakes. Tell you what, it makes that seat a lot heavier. Ugh. Okay, first time sitting in the seat. Oh yeah. Well, so this definitely has to get pumped up a little bit. Am I doing that right? So this little part, you have to pump, I believe, to get air in the seat. I'm gonna have to read the instructions on that, but other than that, looks really good. Well, I figured out that you have to pull this little lever out and push all the way up, all the way up, all the way down. So there's definitely, it's easy to make that adjustment, and you don't have to do that 1,000 times. It really only took 4 or 5 times. Suspension is great. The only trouble I could see running into is hitting my head on the roof. You know, that's par for the course, right? Armrests are great. You can adjust these to where, very similar to the tractor, you can kind of set them like this to where if you're operating SDLA, I don't know if I'll ever really use the right one. The left one seems like it'd be much more user-friendly, I guess. Maybe the right one just gets thrown up when you're using the SDLA lever, and then if you're out there just cruising and you just want to push forward, you do that. So this is a nice upgrade. Ventrac, y'all did a great job. As far as the instructions, it was pretty easy to do. A couple things you saw, you know, I've never done it before, so you kind of run into a couple things. I definitely have a washer rattling around somewhere in all the moving parts now, but hey, you know, if you finish a job with all the bolts you started with, you probably didn't get all the way to the end of the job. Well, we got the suspension seat done. Ventrac, thank you for sending this to us. It was a very kind gesture. We really appreciate that. And hopefully someone out there that has a Ventrac or even a similar machine that they feel like that seat would work with would be interested in a Ventrac seat. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up because I think I'm gonna go ahead and change the tough cut blades on the mower. So that'll be another video. Appreciate y'all watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. Joe the Farmer. We out.